One day, a teacher told his student, "If I give you a kilo of gold and everyone says it's a stone, you will drop it." The student says no. The teacher says, "Well, if I give you a kilo of stone and everyone says it is gold, you will be happy." The student said no, because I know it is a stone. The teacher said, "Then why do you care so much about the opinions of others?" The student said, "Because I am afraid." The teacher said, "From what?" The student said that I am afraid that I will not be enough and they will not want me. The master smiled and said, "But people smell fear." The student get upset. The master said, "You know, when people get old, they have only one regret, and that is the regret of not doing some ifs. If did the work, if did the talk, and if I did, the ifs would destroy the human being." People don't always appreciate opportunities. When they are young, they think that they will make up for it in the future. And in old age, they regret the opportunities on their past. And the most ridiculous part of the whole story here is that no one knows when they will die. So appreciate the moment. Why do we not act? What are we afraid of? It is a lie if we say we are not afraid, but our fear is not related to the issue, but to shame.
Well, everything goes back to our childhood and how we grew up. As a child, due to the weakness and incapacity, the needs of the help of others, especially parents, kid keeps putting themselves in this framework so that they don't leave him. But this framework remains for them.
It's like a calf that is restrained by a rope wrapped around a stick, but when it grows up, it forgets that the stick and rope are weaker than what you want to restrain it, but he never tries again. Shame is the framework that comes to you when you want to get out of it.
Shame is directly related to the fear of judgment and the fear of not being enough, or even not being praised by others. Since in our childhood we suffer from this with the approval and rejection of others and false courage and not understanding that we are vulnerable, which is the reason for not accepting our own mold completely. We become vulnerable.
And we prefer to be in the position of judge instead of acting and being and becoming. We put on the mask of delay and procrastination even for this reason, for the fear of accepting and improving the weaknesses. In fact, we justify the shame, we blame others, we blame the external conditions, and we bear many limitations. Shame is actually a feeling of being overwhelmed by something and leaving that thing because of the fear that is in it. And shame is actually anxiety combined with fear and surprise. Fear of failure, suppression of inner feelings, feeling anxious in situations where there is a possibility of failure, and reviewing the painful feelings related to failure. But all this anxiety about being judged, all these conflicts, that if I am not enough and they understand what is happening, all this will happen.
But are you supposed to be holy? Don't people learn from their failures?
Instead of being afraid of falling and not walking and not doing it, try, and if it doesn't work, laugh first and show that you fall with pride to learn to walk. If the fear of failure overcomes a person, then no one would walk or talk. So accept it, and if you can't, then change it, and then if you can't, let it go.
Think of a child. When he sees dancing for the first time, he falls in love with it, but when he wants to dance in public, he doesn't get good feedback. And since a person hates having his heart broken, he never dances by making excuses to escape from the feeling of inadequacy.
No one learns how to win without defeat. So consciously let your heart break to experience and know the wonderful unknowns, and then you can do it masterfully and win.
Instead of making excuses for not being enough, take action and don't be afraid of failure so that you feel more than enough. Otherwise, you have to stay in the previous framework that you hate for the rest of your life.
When someone wants to change and accept that he has to fail, that person shakes the ground and does not fail in any way. And in the end, you can't ask everyone to look at the world like you do. Come on, think that the world has its own view of you. That is, if you put judgment aside, the world will also put judgment aside. So mind your own business.